first off, very happy for Jabari and Walker to be recognized as first team. Jabari getting freshman of the year, Walker did defensive player of the year. I think when the season started, you could anticipate that these awards were absolutely within Jabari's reach. Sometimes it's very difficult to live up to high expectations. And that could almost be more challenging. And regardless of how high the expectations have been for Jabari Smith this year, he's lived up to all of them and then some. That is really, really hard to do. And his maturity, his competitiveness, his basketball IQ, his love of the game, his work ethic, his discipline, the impact that he's had on our team and our program is historic. I don't think there's any player in college basketball that has come farther in a year than Walker Kessler. He is the best player in college basketball in the air on both ends, offensively and defensively. Has tremendous impact on the game. I think he's, in my mind, a favorite to be the National Defensive Player of the Year. And Walker's MO was a big guy that could stretch the defense. But it never was that he was a great defender. One of the issues regarding Walker's decision to come to Auburn, and a concern, but I suppose it was a thought, was, do we play too fast? Are we a guards team? We've always been a guards program, and the reason is, it's easier to recruit good guards than it is to recruit big guys. It's hard. There are many, many more good guards than there are good bigs. And so that's why Kentucky and your Blue Bloods have always had great programs, because everybody's got really good guards. It's just that those programs, the Blue Bloods, are the only ones with the great bigs, except this year. Auburn was the team that had the best front line, or arguably one of the best front lines in college basketball in our league. So I'm very proud of Walker for taking advantage of the opportunity. They're both such great teammates and great people, incredibly hard workers, incredibly disciplined, and so easy to coach. And then on our Coach of the Year award for our staff, it's a job well done. Just to think of you go back and look at these 18 games, and there's just a lot of wins you can take for granted, both home and on the road. Unless you go back and look at the quality of our league, and you better not take any of them for granted. But I think again, the player development, Jabari going from where he was when he first got here, taking advantage of our strength coach, our trainer, our assistant coaches, the player development, the film study. Jabari's improved. Walker's improved. Our team has improved. And obviously we were champions. So I think those are all things, and we were consistent. And I think those are the things that have been recognized. And so grateful to our coaches in the league and honored for that recognition. It's almost, there's not another 8-9 game in college basketball anywhere near the caliber of the 8-9 game between A&M and Florida. Not even close. Both of these teams are probably a win or two away from being in a tournament, particularly a win against us. So they'll both be playing with their hair on fire, whichever one gets there. Both really well coached. We played very well at home against both teams, and struggled at Florida. So regardless of who comes out of this one, it'll be a really challenging contest.
All right, Coach, we're going to start you off with a question from Justin Hokinson. Hey, Bruce. Yeah, I was going to ask you about the SEC. I mean, obviously, it's impressive that you had the awards and Coach of the Year and had the season you guys had in the SEC as good as it was this year. And you have especially that log jam in the middle of 9 teams. How many teams do you think should be in the NCAA tournament from the SEC in your mind?
I think a lot is going to depend on how the tournament plays out. And then, of course, how many upsets, there are around college basketball. But I think there are 6 locks, and there are, potential for 7 or 8 teams to be able to get in. And this is the best the league has been since I've been in the league.
What a Tom Green.
You mentioned Jabari just living up and exceeding all those expectations throughout the year. But what does it say about him these last 3 weeks to kind of be playing his best basketball heading into the postseason?
Well, I think it just shows the player development. I think it shows that when everybody's challenged, as you are at the end of the year, your cream will rise to the top. It does. It does in tournament time. It just does. And I'm just telling you, there's a reason for that expression. It says I understand that you're challenged at all 5 positions. And so therefore, when these games matter the most, like they do down the stretch, your best players have got to have the best opportunity to step up and win their matchup. See, Jabari wins his matchup every night. And the rest of our guys win it often enough for us to be 15-3, but don't win it every night. But that's what the best players do.
We'll go to Mark Murphy.
Yeah, Bruce, one of your big themes this year has been making history. If you guys win the league tournament, you'll be the first in program history to do both. Talk about that challenge and how's your team this week mentally and physically getting ready for it?
We had a really good practice yesterday. Today will be a contact practice. And we'll back it down Wednesday with some travel, and then practice in Tampa on Thursday and play it Friday. So everybody's been great. And we're on break right now. Kids are on spring break, so they're able to focus on their basketball and their bodies and their rest and their recovery and their rehab.
And the history theme for you about making history with potentially winning both, something never been done at Auburn.
That would be great. I suppose at this time of the year, for sure, we'd like to just continue to try to be playing our best. Can we be better in the half court? Can we continue to shoot the ball well like we have the last couple games? Can we cut down on our turnovers? You really do take it. You really truly take it one game at a time. So, for me right now, knowing our next game is either A&M or Florida, more than the tournament championship, that's really my focus. You guys have been with me long enough to believe that. I'm just focused on this next opponent.
All right, Justin Ferguson.
Bruce, what's it like preparing for this tournament when you don't know who the team's you're going to play until less than 24 hours beforehand? And then, there's 2 more games you could play and there's a wide range of teams you could like. How does that work for scouting and prep and all that?
It's we have 3 teams of scouts and so right now I'm working on A&M and Florida, and there's a group working on Arkansas and LSU, and we probably won't look at the other side of the bracket until Saturday afternoon if we're able to advance. And you've got to be able to train like you've got 3 games in 3 days, even though you only may have 1 game this week. So we'll go hard today, and then we will back it down, for a couple of days in order to put ourselves in position if we're fortunate enough to play 3 games in 3 days.
Nathan King.
Bruce, you talked back in November about that USF game. Obviously, the big reason for y'all scheduling it at this arena. Now, 4 months later, how do you as a coaching staff sort of get your return and the payoff of that when you're working with your players?
We did a little bit to schedule to see it. We better play better than we did against South Florida. I can tell you that. And we actually did it to try to get a road win. In other words, I've always believed, we can't beat Florida. I've not been able to beat Florida at Auburn, but you can't beat Florida unless you can beat South Florida at South Florida. Can't beat Alabama unless you can beat South Alabama at South Alabama. So that's probably why we scheduled the game more than anything. Was it just, yes, opportunity to see the arena, but an opportunity to get a road win.
I'm going to go to Doug Holton next.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned player development quite a few times. Can you talk about Marquise Daniels and the impact that he has on your players?
Well, Marquise specifically is an advisor. And the fact that he's been there and done that, had such a great career, both at Auburn and was an improved player, not drafted, but was in the league, one of the best defensive players in the league, moved around the league a little bit. It's just unbelievable resource for the guys to tap into, and a religious man, a great father, a great husband, and just a great mentor. And then I've got, graduate assistants and, Maddox Jeffries and KT Harrell that are able to get on the floor with these guys. Stephen Pearl, Ira Bowen, Wes Flanagan, do a phenomenal job with the individual workouts and the film study. And that's why they're here. I mean, it's just, we've recruited well the last couple of years. There's no question about it. But the reason why we've had this 5-year run as having won more games than any team in the SEC over the last 5 years is more about retention and player development than it really has been about recruiting. Recruiting's been good, very good. But our guys have come in and gotten better. And my staff deserves all the credit. My staff, not me, my staff.
All right, guys, got time for a couple more. First is Nubias Wilborn.
Hey, Bruce, how's it going today, man?
Good, Nubias, how you doing?
Man, doing well, man. What are the pros and cons of having all the early games? You guys are at noon pretty much all the way. It would be even in the final. Nothing
but pros. All pros all the way through. We have the advantage, especially if you get to Saturday or Sunday. So, and we worked hard to try to have that advantage, just from a time slot. So we're practicing here as soon as I get off the horn, and getting used to practicing in this time slot. I guess that's why we moved our press conference up a little bit. So
we're gonna go to Bob Holt next.
Hey, Bruce, I hope you can indulge me on an Arkansas question. JD Note and Jalen Williams both made the first team coaches. Just wondering, maybe a thought on each of those guys.
Well, I got to know Jalen Williams and his family really well. He had an official visit here. Thought he was going to be a great player, just a terrific inside out player, offensively, defensively, great kid, great competitor. And he wanted to stay home, and he wanted to play for the Hogs and make history there in his home state. And I respect him for that. I saw JD play at Newton High School, teammate of Ashton Hagen's. And I saw JD when he was younger than Ashton. And who is this kid? Holy cow, came there to watch Ashton, and you walk away, scratch your head about this guy. And they looked at him, as an undersized, aspiring young mid-major talent, but not an SEC caliber player at that time in high school. And he had a phenomenal practice the day I was there. And I should have gone back and seen him practice again, because he's terrific. He can win a game all by himself. You could do everything right. Everything. Game plan. You could be there. You could arrive on the catch. And he's the kind of guy where it really don't matter, because he could just jump up and beat you all by himself. Very special talent.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, we're going to finish up with the question from Michael Gittins.
Coach, now that you mentioned that Jabari Smith wins his matchup every night and you need other guys to win their matchups, now that you're in one and done mode, do you work the offense more through Jabari down the stretch here, or are you guys trusting other guys to win their matchups and keep doing what you've been doing all year?
Well, the great football coach Hayden Fry at Iowa said you got to scratch where it itches. And so teams are doing everything they can to take Jabari away and make the other guys beat you. And yet he's still been able to, win his matchup. But you don't do it to the point where it gets to the point where we're better off getting Jabari a double teamed bad shot than having the other guys have open shots. So you take what the defense gives you. You could be the Tom Brady, if they're going to put, if they're only going to rush, however many, he's going to run the ball because that's what the defense is giving him. And so we'll just take what the defense gives us. And I'm not shorting my bench, and we're best when everybody contributes.
Talking a little trash on the field? Yeah, we get it. Trashing the state with litter? That's terrible. Keep it clean. Keep Alabama beautiful.